I'm Cory Weatherton, Director of Product Development here at Entegra Coach. And folks, something brand new for you to see today. Not new as a series, but new model year, a 2026 Entegra Coach Odyssey SE. Now before we start, I'll let you know we're going to be looking at the 22EF floor plan. For the Entegra Coach Odyssey SE, we do have 4 different floor plans. This is the 22EF. Now let's start talking about what makes Entegra Coach, and some of the new enhancements for this model year. First of all, this unit is built on the E350 chassis. Most of our Entegra Coach Odyssey SEs are built on the E350 chassis. However, our longer 31FF is built on the E450 chassis. So, want to point that out to you first and foremost. Everything in this cab area is stock from Ford. However, we do remove the rear view mirror and we do a video monitor for your rear backup camera. So I wanted to point that out first. So that's the chassis that we're building on. And if you ever have questions, visit our website at entegracoach.com. So first of all, I want to point out our one-piece fiberglass front cap. So that you know where the Odyssey SE fits in for our traditional Class Cs, the Odyssey SE is our base trim level. We go from the Odyssey SE to the Odyssey to the Esteem. And so this is our base trim level. And what I like to tell folks, we give you all of your needs. Everything you need for camping, everything you need for that over-the-road experience, but maybe not all of your wants. We will tell you that we build this down the exact same production line as units that are selling for twice as much, utilizing the same construction process. So even though this is our base trim level, it's still a very well-built coach, as is exemplified by our 2-year warranty. We'll get to that in a moment. But what makes Entegra Coach? First of all, it's our one-piece fiberglass front cap. We put this on every Class C that we build. Now, some manufacturers may put it on their higher end units. May is the key word. A small minority do that. But on everything we build here at Entegra Coach, we put this on because we value your investment. So this one-piece fiberglass front cap, it covers a seam where our wallboard and our bunk mat meet each other. So this seam is covered. Why does that matter to you? Because on Class Cs, that is the #1 leak spot on a Class C. We know that, the whole industry knows that, your dealership knows that. And so because we know it's true, that if we do not put this one-piece fiberglass front cap on, that seam between your wall and your bunk platform will leak with time, we put this on. Some manufacturers, once you get up to a couple higher price points, they'll say they have a one-piece fiberglass front cap, but in reality, it only comes about a quarter of the way back. For aesthetics, it looks good. However, they've left this seam exposed, and that is a future leak point on a Class C. So with Entegra Coach, we feel like what's important, the needs versus wants. A need is this one-piece fiberglass front cap. Now, when you bump up to a regular Odyssey, you'll also get an automotive bonded window in that front cap. But on our base trim level, the Odyssey SE, we're still giving this to you, and I think it's a big deal. Coming back to Coach, you'll notice that we do have the 2-year limited warranty. That's twice the industry standard. There's not another Class C manufacturer today that is giving you a 2-year limited warranty. Everybody else is 1 year. So we know that these motorhomes, they cost a lot. Really, RVs in general today, they cost a lot. So we want to give you a peace of mind knowing that your investment is protected twice as long as everybody else's. We could just do a 1, but like I said, the construction process, the front cap, different components, they are shared in sister products, and so we feel very confident giving you that 2-year limited warranty, plus 3-year structural. So let's talk about the structure of this coach. The side walls on this are about 1.5 inches thick, rear wall 1.5 inches thick. Your roof is crowned at 5 inches in the center. Our walls, our floor, and our roof are all vacuum bonded. What that means is it goes into a vacuum press, 144 tons of pressure per square inch for 16 to 18 minutes, depending on what we're laminating. So with that, we are laminating these 144 tons of pressure, and then anywhere we cut out a window, we do a delamination test. We take that cutout, we put it into a machine, and it separates the components of the wall. Our goal is to see the components shred versus cleanly separate. If they shred, we know that the adhesive has been activated and we had a solid lamination process. If by chance they wouldn't shred, we would scrap the wall and start over. But the key thing is we're not scrapping walls. Why is that? Because we have our own lamination facility that is both temperature and humidity controlled year-round. And so it doesn't matter if it's the winter where it's super cold, low humidity, or the summer where in northern Indiana it's hot and very humid. We get the same lamination process year-round. We're one of the only manufacturers that is vacuum bonded versus pinch rolling and also has our own lamination facility that's temperature and humidity controlled. Folks, that is a big deal, giving you a peace of mind that we are building a quality product here at Entegra Coach. You also notice that we have a catalytic converter theft deterrent. Currently on all of our gas chassis that we're building, your Class C's and your Class A's, we are installing that. Why? Because if you use this on Memorial Day weekend and you have plans to use it on 4th of July, if you go out on July 3rd and turn that key and your catalytic converter's gone, it's going to sound like a stock car and you will not take it. I guarantee that. So as what we're doing, standard from us, is we're putting a theft deterrent on that. It is a cage that totally goes around to your catalytic converter. Is it possible to steal it? Yes, it is, but it will require the thief to do a lot of work. So we are throwing that on there. Why? Because, like I said, we understand RVs cost a fair amount of money, and we want you to use it as much as possible. Now, on all of our Class C's, we put an Easy Drive system. So on our regular Odyssey, it's labeled Easy Drive. On our Esteem, it's labeled Easy Drive Elite. Your Odyssey has 3 components. Your Esteem has 5 components. We don't put a sticker on this that says Easy Drive. At the same time, we're doing things to this chassis so that it drives better than the competition, but we just don't call it out. So what are we doing to this chassis that our competitors at this price point aren't doing? First of all, a computer balanced drive shaft. We rebalance that drive shaft because we feel like we can get it tighter than what Ford can. In the case of the 31FF, we're actually stretching the chassis, going from a 2-piece to a 3-piece drive shaft. We rebalance that as one unit, and we eliminate a lot of white background noise inside of this coach that our competitors are experiencing today on the road. Because our goal, every price point, quietest driving, best handling coach. Second thing we're doing is we're installing rubber isolation mounts on both sides of the rear axle. Fun fact is that this cab, when it comes from Ford, has 4 rubber isolation mounts, 1 on each corner, and then this frame rail from Ford has 8 rubber isolation mounts. We're the only manufacturer that in the upfitting process, meaning upfitting, welding the risers and cross members on that support this house, that we reinstall them on both sides of the rear axle. What is that giving you? It's reducing road noise and vibration. And so I can tell you that compared to the competition at this price point, this Odyssey SE is going to drive better than what the competitors do. Now moving back this coach, as I mentioned, this is the 22EF. New graphics for this year, so model year 2026, you're seeing a cleaner, more sleek design. Inside of this compartment, we do have our LP tank. We do have a 30,000 BTU furnace, and then also a 6-gallon gas electric hot water heater. So what does that mean? This hot water heater will run off of propane or electricity. It'll heat quicker on propane than it will electricity, but you can still use either fuel source. Now, if I want it in rapid recovery mode, meaning it'll replenish itself about 3 times in an hour, I can utilize both propane and electricity and have approximately 18 gallons of hot water in an hour. And folks, if you're camping, that is an excessive amount of hot water. You'll notice above me a full-length awning that does have integrated LED lights. So as I said, this is our base trim level, but at the same time, we're still giving you some of those higher end components like the LED strip light up there, so that as you're out here setting up your camp and it's evening and you're grilling, you're sitting by the campfire, you can have mood lighting out here just like our more expensive coaches do. So we're definitely giving you a great experience out here. Now we cannot see on the roof. I'm not going to climb up there. You don't want to come up there with me. So what's on the roof? This is a PVC roof. It is a Dicor branded PVC roof that has a 20-year warranty on the material. What I love about that is the PVC roof does a very effective job at reflecting the sun's UV rays, and it keeps it a little bit cooler inside than the old TPO roofs would. So PVC is relatively newer material, and it works well up there. On the roof, we have a 13,500 BTU ducted air conditioner. This coach can be optioned with 200 watts of solar, which obviously would be on the roof. If you option it with the 200 watts of solar, you get a second house battery and a dual controller. The dual controller will monitor your house batteries, and once those are full, it'll send the charge to your chassis battery at that point. So it is a great option. I would say if I was an end user, that'd be something I would definitely strongly consider optioning my coach with, just simply because it keeps a battery charge level in your house battery and chassis battery, so you're not having to replace them as frequently. Also on the roof, you will have a king jack antenna for your local channels, and then also the skylights. So one of the key things that you as an end customer need to know is that from the factory, we do everything we can to keep water out of these coaches, because water just ruins the investment. On the roof, we have a self-leveling adhesive anywhere we cut into the roof. So around the skylight, around the air conditioner, around the king jack antenna, we use a self-leveling caulk. And so get up there a couple times a year, inspect that caulk. If it looks like it's cracking or starting to peel up, just clean it off and then re-pour over it, and it'll be protection for a couple more years. So that is the roof of this coach. I love this coach because, like I said, its value price gives me all of my needs, but not necessarily all my wants. So do I want 4-point hydraulic leveling? Yes, I do, or no, I don't. At that point, you can option the 4-point hydraulic leveling if you'd like to, or if you want to give it a shot without adding that extra cost and just use plastic blocks to level it yourself. Totally fine. Use this however you'd like. It's yours. Customize it as you'd like. Coming back further, I want to show you these storage compartments. In this, we have a little place for our tools. We have coax cable hookup. We have 120 volt. And then as you can see, that is our solar controller. So this coach actually has been optioned with solar. What I love about this 22EF floor plan is this storage. There is so much storage courtesy of that corner bed. Now, if you're a corner bed hater, let's not hate right away, because we'll cover the benefits of that on the inside of the coach. But exterior wise, you can see that there is a lot of storage underneath there for you to put your camp chairs, for you to put a fold away crib, really anything you want to put in there. And then one more storage compartment down below. Wanted to point that out to you. Now you will notice our LP Quick Connect. That is for an exterior griddle or gas grill. Great thing about that is I can be underneath my awning. If I'm frying fish, making bacon, anything that has a lot of smell to it, I can do that outside of my coach and not have that smell go inside of the coach. So that's been a look at the side of this 22EF Odyssey SE. Let's check out the backside. Alrighty, so here we are on the backside of this Odyssey SE. A couple things I want to point out. You'll see your standard brake lights down below, but with Entegra Coach, we're giving you the third brake light overhead. Why would we do that? Because if you're towing something down here, it could be flat towing something that's wider, it could be towing a cargo trailer. These lower brake lights could be obscured. We want to give you that third overhead so that whoever's traveling behind you will have adequate stopping distance. Also overhead, you're going to notice our rear backup camera. That is going to be for you to be able to obviously hook up either to your trailer easily, or as you're backing into that campsite, be able to give you that visual appeal. You'll notice that down below we do have the square bumper. The square bumper is great to store your Stinky Slinky in if you'd like to. Oftentimes motorhomes, they don't have a place for that. They may give you a flat bumper. We give you the tubular bumper simply because you're able to store things in it if you'd like, potentially even a fishing rod if you'd need to. Down below we do have a 5,000-pound hitch on this. Note that Ford rates this E350 chassis with a specific towing capacity, and so you are getting the 5,000-pound hitch on this. So we give you your needs. Maybe you want that ability to tow 7,500 pounds. At that point, we'll need to bump you up to an Odyssey so that you can have that tow capacity. So that's been the camp side, the rear of this coach. Let's check out the storage on the off-camp side. On the off-camp side, we are limited on storage, just shooting straight with you. Back in this area of the coach, we have a rear corner bath, and so that eliminates any storage in this area because we have plumbing down below. As we move forward, we have our fuel fill for this Ford chassis. That is gasoline. We do have our wet bay here. What I love about our wet bays is they're clearly labeled for city fixtures, city fill, country fill, normal, sanitation, etc. We do have an outdoor shower, city water connection, and even on this base trim level, we are giving you a black tank flush. Black tank flush is great because it will flush all of the debris out of your black tank. If you're new to RVing, if you're seasoned, please forgive me. If you're new to RVing, the black tank is your toilet. So clearly there's debris in that, so that black tank flush is great. Down here is our storage for our 30 amp cord. You'll see this small storage compartment here on our off-camp side. Relatively small, but at the same time you could fit some tackle boxes in there, or even your fire starting material. Plenty of room in there for that. And then behind me is a 4,000 watt generator. So this coach does come standard with a 4,000 watt generator. And so this has been a look at our off-camp side storage of the 22 EF. Now I definitely want to encourage you, floor plans are always married to storage. And so not all of our Odyssey SEs have the exact same storage. So if you fell in love with that rear corner bed storage, that massive compartment under there, please know that not every floor plan has that. The floor plan is married to storage, so they're all vastly different. So this has been a look at the off-camp side of the coach. Let's go inside and check it out. We are inside the 22 EF Entegra Coach Odyssey SE. And folks, there is a lot to love about this coach on the inside. You'll notice behind me is our front overhead bunk rated at 750 pounds. So like I said, base trim level. Did you know the industry average on these front overhead bunks is about 425 to 450 pounds? Ours is 750. You know, how do we do that 2-year limited warranty? Everybody else is one. I point out frequently that it comes down to engineering and build quality. 750 pounds. Will it ever be up here? Probably not, but at the same time, we still give you that ability up here. You'll notice that we do have a smart television. What I love about the smart TVs is I can stream. You know, realistically, this is a smaller footprint, so you do have a smaller footprint of a television. This unit, bumper to bumper, is 24 feet 8 inches long. So it is compact. It has 0 slides. But let me tell you, if you get down to your dealer's lot and go inside of this coach, I am certain that you're going to find that it has more room than what you anticipated for a 24 foot 8 inch unit with no slides. Now behind me, everything is Ford, from the seats to the radio. Everything about this cab is Ford, so I won't talk much at all about this. Now with Entegra Coach, everywhere we put a seat belt. So in a U-shaped dinette, we have 3 seat belts. Plus we have our driver passenger. Now something to note, in our Odyssey SEs, we do not put child safety tethers. You bump up to an Odyssey for that. So traditionally in our Odysseys, forward-facing dinettes, you will have child safety tethers. In our Odyssey SEs, we do not. I get that times change, science changes, everything changes. When my kids were little, child safety tethers, I hate saying this, did not exist. And so we had put the car seat in a lap belt and just cinch it tight. Still possible to do that in this. But wanted to point that out to you that these SEs, no child safety tethers. You will notice that it is nice and bright in here. These are 4 Kelvin lights, so they are whiter and they are brighter than what we've used in the past. Wanted to point that out. You'll also notice that overhead, like I said, 13,500 BTU ducted air conditioner, so it's ducted back into the bedroom all the way up to the front. So this has been a look at the front of the coach. Let's go ahead and switch places and I'll show you the back. So in the back of the coach really is the area I love, but before we talk too much back here, I do want to point out the control panel that is definitely conveniently located inside the front door here. So you'll notice that on this we do have our 12-volt tank pad heaters. I can control my hot water heater from here for either propane, electric, or propane and electric. I get my tank readouts. Also, if there's a slide on the unit, like our 31FF, that will be here. So that's going to be our control panel down below. You'll notice the solar readout if it has been optioned with solar. If there's jacks, that panel will be down there. But then also just some auxiliary light switches, as well as your power step switch as well. Coming back into the kitchen, we have a nice single basin sink. You'll notice that the faucet is metal. We're not utilizing plastic. Some manufacturers will utilize plastics. Ours are metal. You have nightshades throughout. If this window shade were open, this is a very large window. It's one of the largest we use on any of our products. It's such a small footprint that we don't want it to feel claustrophobic. So if we were to open that, it would let a lot of light in, so we keep that closed for filming purposes. But this 22EF has an incredible window and also daylight coming in. You'll notice that we do have a convection microwave over the cooktop. We have this. What I love about this is that it truly can do your chickens, your Cornish game hens, your pizza, your rolls. It functions just like an oven does. And the glorious thing about this is, as soon as I hit start, I'm not emitting a lot of heat out here. If this unit had a traditional oven in it, it really fights the air conditioner of its summer usage to where it's emitting heat out into this. These convection microwaves I love because they do anything an oven does, but they do it with less heat emissions. So great feature. We have our range cooktop hood and then our dual burner with a glass surface that I can use as a storage area as well. Down below, you will notice that we have a nice bank of drawers. I didn't mention, but over the dinette, we've got that. Here in the kitchen, we've got that. And then a nice little cubby to be able to put your pizza stone or anything larger up there for transit. The wardrobe for a 24-foot unit is large in my opinion. We don't use a lot of hanging space, obviously, when we're camping. Maybe you do. Maybe you're going to balls and semi-formals and things like that. I don't, but there is a lot of hanging space in here for your flannels or anything that you want for those cooler camping days. And then down below we have 3 drawers. The bottom is exceptionally deep. You will find a 10 cubic foot 12-volt refrigerator in this. What I love about these 12-volt refrigerators is the amount of time they cool down is really next to nothing. If I'm going camping, we have a demo fleet here at the factory. I'm able to go out at 6 a.m., turn this on, and by 10 or 11, I can load up all my cold goods, and this will be chilly. You can notice Super Freeze gives you all the time that you can store your food in there. Technically, if you want to, looks like you could put a turkey in there for 4 to 6 months and you're golden. I'd use the turkey before that. Coming back, as I mentioned, corner beds are a love-hate. The reason I love a corner bed, me personally, is because when I'm camping, I'm going to spend very little time in the bed and hopefully very little time in the bathroom. So we stick both of those in the back of the coach, out of the way, and then your main living area is very open. So though it's 24 feet 8 inches long, it's open, and in my opinion, it's a very livable floor plan. So you'll notice inside of our bathroom, we have our shower, our toilet, and then a large sink base as well as a medicine cabinet. And then back in the bedroom, we had overhead cabinets on 2 of your sides. You have 5 overhead cabinets with underlighting, a nice window below your cabinets, and a privacy curtain. So like I said, little time in the bedroom, at least in my experience, little time in the bathroom. We put it back out of the way and you have a great living space. 24/8, no slides. It feels very spacious. I want to thank you for taking time today to watch this video. I know it was a time commitment on your part. If you have any questions, feel free to contact your local dealer. If you don't know who your local dealer is, go to our website, EntegraCoach.com. We have a dealer locator. They'll tell you who's closest to your zip code. If by chance you stump your local dealer, always feel free to call us here at the factory. Let us know what state or province you're in, and then also what series you're interested in. So for instance, if you're from Alabama watching this video and you want information on this unit, you'll let our secretary know you're from Alabama, you're interested in the Odyssey SE, and she will connect you with our regional sales manager responsible for Alabama or whatever state or province you're from. At that point, ask our regional sales manager anything you want. We have a lot of knowledge that we've given our regional sales managers. They know this product very well. If by chance you stump them, they have direct access to our engineering team and also our production team that I can tell you confidently that if they don't know the answer, they will get that answer for you and they'll call you back in a timely fashion. Again, my name's Cory Weatherton, Director of Product Development here at Entegra Coach. Thanks for watching this video, and make sure you see it down at your local dealership and get out camping this fall in one of these units.